Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2020 Jimco number 179 Hammerhead Class 1. Now this has 1,356 horsepower, 1,021 pounds-feet of torque from its 7.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 3,302 pounds, already came with off-road tyres and off-road suspension, but it now has all-wheel drive to go along with those two elements, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.304 seconds, 0 to 104.006 seconds, and go to a top speed of 177 miles an hour. So even though the standard tyres are on this, they are wider, and the all-wheel drive system should hopefully help keep in check the amount of power this has going on. But it already had a lot of power in its standard engine at 850 horsepower and 800 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, an extra 506 horsepower isn't a huge amount increase. But as you can see, the handling on this is pretty poor. I don't know why, but it really is. It's not great at all, especially when you consider how great the other stats are, especially the acceleration, launch, braking and off-road capability are. So yeah, unlike the Rimac Nevera, which had excellent handling for a vehicle on this series, this is the complete opposite. But obviously this is meant for going off-road, unlike the Nevera, but despite that being the case with the Nevera, it still managed to get to the top of the leaderboard, being our new champion on this series. So yeah, for that reason alone, I'm not expecting this to be the quickest that we've had on this series. Handling is a really crucial part of this series when it comes to those that are taking part, and you can have, sub 8.0 on the stat for off-road capability, but if you have the handling, then you can predominantly make up for your off-road capability. So yeah, whereas this is completely the other direction. So yeah, I'm not expecting great things from this, but it'll be interesting to see where it comes regardless, especially since off-road vehicles on this series tend to not do as well as you'd expect. Although there's definitely a massive difference between rally cars and vehicles like this, more extreme kind of off-road vehicles. Rally cars definitely do a fair bit better. So yeah, let's see what this does now. Obviously the all-wheel drive is not native to this car. We've already seen a little bit of understeer there. Given the lack of handling, I figured all-wheel drive really is going to be a necessity for this. Yeah, fair bit of understeer there again. Definitely seems to be the slower corners where it's a bit more difficult to get going. At least with the faster corners we can slide it around at speed. Get up to a fair rate of speed once you give it enough room, but giving it that room in the first place, that is a real issue. Now this is part of the rally adventure. You unlock it by playing through that campaign. I unlocked this in the previous episode of that series that I've been doing. You might find it a little bit tricky around this area because it is a little bit more tight and twisty. It seems to like to do wheelies and all sorts of other weird things with its suspension. Well, we're not going to be as quick as the car in the previous episode, but we're still far quicker than some other off-road vehicles at 3 minutes 23.228 seconds. in comparison to other vehicles that we've had on this series from the Rally Adventure expansion, yeah, it seems to be one of the quicker ones. Just trying to find them, quite frankly. Well, we're at least quicker than the what is it? The Mitsubishi Galant VR4, the Nissan Sentra Nismo, Aston Martin DBX, Toyota Hilux AT38, and the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, as well as the Honda Ridgeline Baja Trophy Truck, which is a pretty hefty kind of vehicle. And yeah, we're quicker than the Hoonigan Volkswagen Baja Beetle Scumbug, which is also from the same expansion as this, as well as the Razor Pro XP Factory Racing Limited Edition. So yeah, we're not the slowest car by any means in terms of these, you know, off-road vehicles or anything like that. You know, the vehicles that are purpose-built for going off-road and nothing else. You know, you're certainly not going to see this on a normal road, but yeah, it's certainly one of the quicker ones. But you know, the likes of the Nissan Safari Z370Z Safari Rally Tribute is quicker than this, which again is meant for going off-road. And the likes of Subaru WRX STI ARX Rally Supercar, the and the Peugeot 207 Super 2000 and the Extreme E X44, both quicker than this. So yeah, by no means the quickest vehicle, but given the really rather poor handling, it's on a lot better than I was expecting it to do, and even more so when you consider its all-wheel drive isn't native to the car and it was doing some really rather weird handling characteristics, wheeling around and other elements. So yeah, on the whole, a reasonable car, but not a particularly fun car to drive seriously. Although, you know, when messing around, it is certainly a fun and fast vehicle. So yeah, it's got its own place in this game, but certainly not my favourite of the cars from the expansion. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.